Hey team, and welcome. I'm your host, Carrie, creator of Mother Life, your destination for all things real talk and parenting. This is the IRL group chat, where we talk about the wild balancing act of pursuing careers and passions while also doing our best to show up for our kids. Join me every week as I sit down with some badass parents in my closet and we talk about their careers, kids, and relationships and all of the weird shit that comes up when you're trying to balance the seemingly impossible. It hits everyone at different times. That moment we realize that our parents were our people, like fully formed people outside of their role as parent to us. People with their own stuff going on, their own demons, their own dreams. To be clear, it's not because all parents are Emmy Award-winning actors that kids don't realize the humanity of their parents sooner. It's just not how adolescent brains are wired. We're focused on going, on doing, on moving forward, on hopefully our parents helping us get from point A to point B. But then the other shoe drops. Maybe it's in your early 20s and you're starting to dabble with therapy, or maybe it's later on when you start to notice some behavior or preference in your parents that you never really clocked before. For so many, I think it happens to us when we're about to become parents or are in the throes of navigating our own parenting. You look at these people you've known your whole life in a new light. For so many of us, I think we all come up with the same question. How in the hell did they pull it off? It really is kind of crazy to think that one day I'll be the subject of such armchair analysis by my own kids. That they'll dissect my life for better or worse and make sense of me as their mom in maybe a whole new way. Crazier still, it's a narrative I have pretty much no control in. They'll write that story and develop that understanding on their own. And I think the best thing I can probably do is just try and show them who I really am as best I can before they start taking notes. This week's guest had me thinking about how growing older ourselves provides this opportunity to see our parents in a new light, and maybe that insight can give us the perspective we need to navigate our own paths in life, with gratitude, with introspection, with acceptance. Nicole Lyn is an actor, a DJ, and an all-around creative. She started in the acting and modeling world young, and by 12 was working regularly on a range of popular Canadian TV shows, from Ramona and Eric's World to later on Student Bodies, with appearances on a range of shows that we all know and love. Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Kids in the Hall, West Wing, so many more. As a creative second act, Nicole's DJ career under the name Miss Nix has been, in some ways, a return to the power of music that she was exposed to and loved in childhood. Her DJing has been featured in Style, Vanity Fair, Ebony, In Touch, Page Six, Us Weekly, and she's had TV appearances on VH1 Live, Good Morning America, The Queen Latifah Show, so many more. Today we travel from Canada to Jamaica, from New York to LA with Nicole. A life built on the foundation of her own family's stories, all the while building a new narrative for her son to uncover himself one day. Enjoy. Welcome to the closet, Nicole. I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so glad to be here.
I love a multi-hyphenate. I love a creative person, and you've done a lot of things. And so those are my favorite because it can't possibly be like a linear story that we're about to go on, right?
No. A lot of pivots, a lot of up and down, roller coaster, life stuff.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to get into it. We're going to start with little Nicole. We're going to get to today, and we're going to do it in an hour.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am willing to take on the challenge.
Now, before we get started, so Canadian, right?
Yeah, I was born in Canada.
And is the internet telling the truth that you have a Jamaican mom, Chinese dad?
Both my parents were born in Jamaica.
Okay.
And my dad is Chinese, my mom is Black.
Now, it's a funny, sad, strange day to be talking to you because obviously Blue Jays crushed last night. I don't know how. Are you invested?
I am. I don't follow baseball normally, but anytime a Toronto team, makes it to the big show, I'm like, I'm here for it.
Well, I was talking to another Canadian this week who's extremely invested, and she was like, it's a little bit of this like unifying moment in Canada because rightly so, Canadians are a little bit like, fuck you, America right now.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's also almost this like referendum on sanity. And so everyone's like super, super invested if they hadn't been before, because it's like a war for morality in some way. It's a weird time because obviously Blue Jays did great last night, crushing. And also this other piece of you, there's a horrific natural disaster happening in Jamaica right now.
Yeah.
Do you still have a community there? Are you still connected?
Absolutely. I have tons of family there. You know, our family home is there. My stepmom is there. My dad actually passed away last year.
I'm sorry.
And I was going to Jamaica. I may still go, depending on, you know, how things, you know, pan out in the next couple of weeks. I was actually going to spread my dad's ashes at sea for his wishes in a couple of weeks. So if it doesn't happen, you know, when we were planning for it to happen, it will eventually. Yeah. But there's definitely going to be, you know, a lot of work to do to clean up and get a lot of people's lives and livelihoods back on track. But my family is safe.
Everyone okay.
I have there is safe. And as far as I know, there hasn't been too much extensive damage to like our personal circles, property. And
that's good. But it is like that time of year. I'm from Florida, so hurricane season was like we didn't do snow days, but we certainly did a hurricane season, deeply invested. And when I saw the alert come up of like, you know, Melissa's coming for Jamaica, I was just like, fuck, we're already at this time of year again. And I feel like every year it's getting a little scarier.
Yeah.
So sending good vibes to any Jamaicans listening. We are thinking about you. I know AmeriCares is already deploying to try and figure out how to support. There's a lot of other organizations who hopefully are going to show up soon and do their part. But you grew up in my mind, all of Canada is like Maybury. It's like everybody's nice to each other. Everybody's pretty polite.
Yeah.
Is that real? I mean, especially as a biracial person growing up there, is that like the real story? Did it feel like that?
I think growing up, it did. It may have changed considerably now, right?
Yeah.
In 2025, when I was growing up in Canada, I was, you know, it was like the early 80s.
Yeah.
And so it's different for sure. But back then, like, yeah, it kind of did. When I think about like the things I was doing as a elementary school kid, that my kid definitely could not do in any city, in any country in the world today, I feel very fortunate to have had that kind of safety and autonomy and, you know, ability to like get to know myself in a city that is as diverse and as dynamic as Toronto.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
And were you like in the city proper? Were you in the suburbs? I'm not going to pretend to like understand Toronto, so you have to lay it out for me. Like we've had people from Texas, and I'm always like, talk to me about Texas. I don't really get it. I've been to Toronto twice. So.
Yeah. There's definitely like a you know, well-known, very vibrant downtown core. That's where you'll find like, you know, the stadiums where the teams play and the CN Tower.
Where the Blue Jays play.
Hey. Yeah. And then we were mostly on either side of that downtown core, either the West End or the East End. I was born in a small town called Brampton.
Okay.
And I lived there and on the West End, like Mississauga, Brampton area for a while. And then my mom and stepdad moved us out to Pickering, which is on like the far east side. Shout out Pickering.
I'm going to look it up on the map, but also shout out Pickering.
Yes. And we were there for a while and then kind of got like progressively more west because most of my mom's family who's there lives in Mississauga and that end. So
big Jamaican community?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Huge.
And so did you grow up with lots of like aunties, cousins, etc.? That's the best.
Yeah. Both sides of my family are big and big. You know what I mean?
Big
like,
and big.
Big in size and big in personality and just like big.
What's the Chinese Jamaican community like? I'm less familiar.
So
I know there's a big Chinese Canadian population.
Yeah. In Jamaica, there are a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Chinese who came over, you know, many generations ago to start businesses. after the railroad was completed, there were so many more towns that now had like access to, bring in goods and bring in people and people passing through. And so, Chinese immigrants were some of the people who came and, built up small towns and small commercial areas to serve those communities.
So interesting. And for you growing up as the daughter of immigrants in Canada, were there a lot of like traditions in your life that were sort of distinct to your friends, and like, were there like things that were going in your lunchbox that were different than your friends? Was the vibe different, or was it just sort of like pretty assimilated life?
I don't know. I don't think I was aware of it at that time.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older and I sort of compare experiences, especially like with my partner, with Chad.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago, I brought home a whole mango from the store.
Yeah.
And I'm in the kitchen and I'm cutting it, and he's like, "What's that?"
What?
And
Chad.
I'm like, "It's a mango. You've never had a mango?" He's like, "I've tasted mango, like a mango juice or a mango sauce or whatever, but I don't think I've ever had like a whole mango, like, fresh." And I was like, "How is that possible?" He's like, "I grew up in Newark, New Jersey."
That's fair. Not a lot of fresh produce, let alone fresh mango.
Yeah.
Going around Newark.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so maybe, the fact that I was eating this all throughout my childhood, picking it off trees even, when I was in Jamaica, not universal. And I get that.
That is so funny. And were there like traditions that you have sort of held on to from how you grew up, like holidays or stuff that you now are doing in your home?
I think so. I think there are definitely, food is a huge thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, at holidays, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter or whatever the case may be, we don't just do like the regular like turkey and then fixings. We have to like infuse it with, there's also
flavor,
like, some curry goat, or there's also like rice and peas, not just plain rice, or so definitely carrying that on, because I definitely want Crosby to like know and understand and appreciate and enjoy that part of his heritage and culture.
Food feels like one of the easiest ways to do it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm the same. Like I make stuff I'm Jewish, I make chopped liver.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to start eating that when you're little, or else there's no way.
There's no acquiring taste.
Yeah. There's no way that like a 13-year-old's like, cool, I'll try that. Liver. Gefilte fish, like there's all sorts of things that you got to get them in early, or you don't have a chance.
Totally.
Curried goat might be in that category, not sure.
It might be, yes, for sure. And even just like a little bit spicy things. I try to like give him a little bit of spice at a time, because Chad is like no spice. Like they don't do spice at all in his family. And
so
I'm like,
funny.
That can't work.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. And then in terms of like parenting style, so your parents got divorced. How old were you when they got divorced?
When my parents split up, I was like 2.
Same,
really young.
Same
like,
for me.
Almost a baby.
Yeah.
Still. And my dad actually moved back to Jamaica at that time.
Wow.
So
that's a big change.
He moved back and was doing business there, and my mom stayed in Toronto, and I grew up there mostly with her and my grandparents for a while. We all lived together, because my mom was really young when she had me. She was 17.
Wow.
Yeah, so I grew up with my mom's 2 sisters, kind of like my sisters.
Amazing, yeah.
And we all lived with my grandparents for a while. And then when my mom remarried, we moved out, and we all lived as a family with my stepdad.
That is, I mean, shout out to your mom. Like, and do you have other siblings?
I do. I'm the oldest of 4.
Do you identify as an eldest?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
For you, in the stereotype of oldest sibling, especially like oldest girl, are there certain things that you're like how do you feel about a spreadsheet? Are you into a spreadsheet?
Here's the thing.
Because you're a creative too.
Yeah. Like, I love clarity. I love organization, but I really thrive off vibes.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's a little bit of a right brain, left brain balance for me.
Yeah.
More right brain.
Yeah.
Really. But Yeah, I definitely, as the eldest daughter specifically.
Yeah, that's like a very specific thing.
Yeah.
The daughter piece.
Yeah, I feel a lot of those tropes.
Like, are you like
my personality?
Are you like texting the other siblings being like, hey, like it's mom's birthday or like whatever, like don't forget to call her? Are you doing that sort of stuff?
Yeah. I do that. I do, the kind of, I'll come in because I'm the only one who lives out of town. They all still live like within 10, 15 minutes of each other. And so I will like, come into town and like, okay, what needs to be fixed? What needs to be addressed?
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Are you having issues with this? And this is how you need to communicate with each other. And
What's the age spread between you and the youngest?
so there are 3.5 years between me and my first brother.
Okay.
Then 11 years between me and my second brother. And 13 years between me and my sister.
Yeah. So there's also a little bit of like aunt/mom in there too.
Yeah. I mean, the younger two, I was changing their diapers.
Wow.
I was babysitting.
Wow. And now when you think about like your mom having you at 17, you had your son like me later in life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever like weigh out the pros and the cons of like her experience versus yours?
I mean, first and foremost, I don't know how she did it.
Me neither.
That it seems like emotionally, like psychologically impossible.
Yeah.
I can't imagine me at that age having a child and like keeping them alive.
No. And she's like not just keeping you alive, she's putting you in dance class.
Oh,
like she's
yeah.
like doing all of the stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that I'm grateful to some degree that I got to do it a little later in life. It's given me a whole new appreciation for my childhood.
Yeah.
And the way I was parented and the opportunities that I was given and the sacrifices that were made for me. But also a sense of relief. Like, whew, I'm so glad that I got all those things plus like a nice hearty chunk of my adulthood to prepare me
Yeah.
for being a parent.
For sure.
Yeah.
And now, what is it like? I mean, it sounds like you had this awesome village of people supporting your mom and parenting, kind of like co-parenting you. You have the grandparents. When you're in high school, are you a goody two-shoes? Are you a troublemaker? And like, how's everybody responding to you in the family?
That's interesting. I think I had a sort of phases of my high school experience. So like I did one semester of high school in Toronto, and my mom and I had made a deal because prior to that I had gone to a school for the performing arts, and I was acting and dancing and doing the whole thing. I was working as an actor professionally as well, and we had made a deal that come high school I was going to go to like a regular school so that when I was in school I could focus on education.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, I was still, working and doing extracurricular stuff. But instead of splitting my time at a performing arts school, she wanted me to like be in school full time when I was in school. So I did that. I went to a new school for 9th grade, and I did one semester, and it was awful.
That's like whiplash. Like that's a big change.
Yeah. It was, because also it's a whole different like culture and set of kids who had not been doing the same thing that I was doing.
Yeah.
So
you had kind of been adulting already. Like when you're like a working actor as a kid, like you're expected to show up at set on time and do your job like everybody else on that set, right?
Yeah.
It's a very different set of experience.
Yeah. So it was not smooth at all. And that Christmas, I went to Jamaica to visit with my dad and my family there, and I met one of my dad's associates had a daughter my age, and they were moving from Florida to Jamaica because she had business there, and then she was sending her daughter to this school in a town called Mandeville. And she and I hit it off. We became besties over that holiday break, and my stepmother was kind of put in my ear, like, you're having a hard time at school in Toronto.
I see where this is going.
And if you've never been here full time, and we would love to have you. So like, if you wanted to see what school was like here, you could go to the same school as your friend.
Wow.
And I was like,
And how old are you? You're like 16 when
no, this is ninth grade. So I was like, 13 going on 14.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah,
An impressionable time.
Yeah, I went back and I was still like giving it a shot. But by like March, I was like, I think maybe, yeah, let's try this out. So before that school year was over, I had transferred and was living in Jamaica and going to school there.
How did your mom take that?
My mom's super emotional.
Yeah.
About like literally everything.
Like commercials, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so she was, I think, sad a little bit. She didn't, not want me to be there every day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think she kind of understood and was happy that I wanted to spend more time with my family there. And especially that relationship with my dad, because I had never, up until that point, it was just holidays and summers. And so getting to experience each other full time was, a thing that was...
That's, again, a credit to her, though, because if somebody said to me, like, hey, like I just... my heart would come out of my chest. Like, that is, like, that would be a really tough thing. So the fact that she handled that with such grace and was like, this is actually good for you, and, like, good for her.
Yeah.
Emotions aside, like, that is, I would have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I know.
And so how long were you there? And was it what you wanted it to be?
It was, actually. I mean, it was a lot of new stuff again, because the entire education system is different. Like they still are on the British system, and so it was a complete overhaul of like the way I learned, what I was learning, the pace, not to mention the environment. And so, there was maybe a little bit of adjustment just in terms of the actual academics piece, but I made friends I still have, like now to this day, lifelong friends. And I think that experience made me even more sort of adaptable and flexible. Yeah. And so I'm really grateful for it.
What was the accent situation? Because you wouldn't have had one and everybody else would have, no?
Not everybody else, because there were a lot of like...
expat kids, got it.
Yes, and even foreign exchange students.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so, I definitely...
You weren't like sticking out.
No, not in that way. Not in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, in high school I was like, I wouldn't say I was the popular person, but I had a good group of friends.
Yeah.
We
we're not like unearthing some deep trauma about your high school years.
No,
it doesn't sound like.
Yeah, no.
Good.
But that
like really could have gone.
I pushed the envelope here and there, and there were a lot of boy drama and the usual.
Now, when you were acting before that point, because you were on a show for like 3 or 4 years, right? One show.
Yeah. So,
I mean, you were doing a bunch of stuff, but there was like one concentrated.
Yeah. So towards at the beginning, after I moved to Jamaica, I was still going home to Toronto for summers to do, I think I did it for the last 2 seasons of a show that I had been on before I left. And we did 5 seasons of that show.
Wow.
It was called Eric's World.
Yeah.
And my character's name was Prudence.
You don't really give Prudence, Nicole.
No. And then when that wrapped, I would still go home for the summers, but just like to hang out or audition or whatever came up. And then after I graduated and moved back to Toronto, then I got a show that I was on for 3 years that shot in Montreal. And then after that, I moved to LA.
So were you always, because like you also have this music piece in you, this DJ extraordinaire, and in some ways they're very different forms of expression, DJing and acting. For you, did you feel like, what was it that sort of drew you to both of these things?
I think performing was just always something I loved. I loved, like, from I was itty bitty, it was, talent show performances for our family at, gatherings, and making up stories and dressing up. And I just, it felt like a natural progression. I didn't start working professionally. I didn't start working until I was around 6, which sounds crazy to say. But that was even kind of a serendipitous thing. Like you were saying, it was all hands on deck when I was little, right? My mom was still, finishing up college and all of that stuff. And so I would often go with my aunt, her younger sister. She would babysit me when my mom wasn't available, or my grandmother. And I would go with her. She was a model, and I would go with her to audition sometimes. And so we went to this one audition of hers for Jordache jeans.
Oh, nice.
And
iconic.
Yes, it was a print campaign, and I ended up booking it. And so that was the start of my little modeling situation, and then that led to commercials and then TV and film.
Wow.
But DJing was also a happy accident. I was living here in LA at the time, and the business is up and down, and I just was like, I need something new.
Yeah.
Like, I need a discovery phase. And so I took up DJing as a hobby. I was taking lessons at Scratch Academy.
Nice.
And I just really loved it. I took to it, and I kept taking more and more and more courses and getting more and more skills. Sidebar, my stepdad was a DJ when I was growing up. So he used to DJ in the clubs. That's where he met my mom.
Wow. Okay, Mom, out in the clubs.
I know. So, we always had music in our house. We
That's
had
huge.
records, and it was part of our family thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Playing records and dancing and listening to music, and there's always music playing in our house, which is what my house is today, honestly.
That's amazing.
My
My husband would go psycho if I try. I can get away with classical music without him being like, it's too loud in here.
Yeah, even if it's low, just a whisper, or you can only hear it in a certain part of a certain room.
Yeah.
There's always music playing in our house.
So nice. So that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah.
And then, because we can't be what we can't see, and you
And even in Jamaica, in high school, there were guys that I went to school with who had a little set. You know what I mean? And they would pop up and DJ parties, and so it was always in my consciousness.
Yeah. It wasn't a weird thing to have done. It was of course.
Yeah.
What was your mom doing for work?
She was a NICU nurse.
Wow.
For many, many years, 30-ish years.
What a job.
And now she teaches. She works for a company that makes equipment that they use in that unit, and she teaches nurses how to use the equipment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to suppose anything, but that sounds like good, fertile ground for a really helpful grandma situation.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds couldn't really luck out more than that.
Ask for anything better, right?
Yeah, that feels like a real cha-ching situation.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So you've kind of got all these creative pursuits. You do kind of have a linear trajectory toward this creative path. And is your family just go for it, Nicole?
Yeah.
Sure.
Pretty much.
You're booking a jeans campaign at 6. Whatever. Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think my dad's side is a little more sort of traditional.
Yeah.
And so they'd be like, that's great. And so what about school?
Right.
And how's that going? And, what's plan B?
Yeah.
There was always that, making sure I had all my I's dotted and my T's crossed.
Yeah.
But by and large, everyone was really supportive.
And were you just tootling, do, I'm going along my way? I would have been shitting myself I'm always worried about financial security. Yeah. So I would have been what is my plan B? What happens if nobody, I was.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, today I am still like that. But it's funny because every time I would get really stressed about it, really in my head about it, something would happen that would set it up for at least like the foreseeable future.
Right.
And so I would be like, I was kind of worried about that for no reason.
And then now I just got to make it to the next one and the next one.
Yeah.
And so you moved to LA, and at what point because you were married once before? Mm-hmm. At what point does that relationship enter the picture? Are you already in LA at that point?
So after I moved to LA in 2000.
Okay.
And
so you're basically an Angelino now.
It's been some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I left for about 7 years, 2012 to 2019. But I've been racking up some years.
So you're here, you're the new kid on the block. It's like that stereotypical thing of like the beautiful girl arrives and is like on the scene, and she, like, I'm assuming you were single at the time?
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm assuming, being a dating curious person about the world around you. What is it like being, kind of trying to come up in the industry, get, develop your portfolio and also date?
Ugh.
That's kind of what my guess is ugh, because I didn't do it. I didn't have that experience here, but I imagine it's kind of tricky, especially like when you're a fox. It's true.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I've been kind of a serial monogamist my entire life. And so,
can you do that here?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have much of I didn't do a lot of dating. I met the person who ended up being my husband pretty quickly after I moved here, and we kind of just like fell into that groove. And
you guys were together for a long time, right?
Yeah, 12 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Also an actor?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it has to be hard to date somebody who is also an actor, because you both have like crazy schedules. You're both, like, it just seems like there's a lot of like inbuilt stressors.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Think it's like a double-edged sword, right? Yeah. Like on one side, it's great because you have somebody who understands intimately like what it takes to keep going.
Yeah.
In this business. And you've got like a built-in, rehearsal reader and
good point.
all that good stuff. Like, and then, the other part of it too is at the time he was further along in his career than I was.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of, opportunities to like be very mixy, which, is fun.
Yeah.
And can feel like bonding.
Yeah.
But also can like make things a little murky and sometimes shift focus away from things that, ultimately, if you don't stay on top of in your relationship, in your primary relationship, can, go
messy.
Haywire. Yeah.
And so after 12 years together, you guys call it quits. You consciously uncouple, or whatever we're calling it, in Los Angeles. And you move on, and you at this point in your career are a lot further along, because it's been 12 years.
Well, and also I had started DJing, which never was supposed to be a career for me, but just snowballed so quickly that I was like, this feels great. Like there's momentum here. I'm really enjoying it. And that discovery phase that I had been looking for was like really feeding me and fulfilling me. And so
I'm trying to think, wait, how old were you when you guys got divorced?
Oh my gosh.
Ish.
I was mid 30s. Yeah.
Great. And you guys hadn't had kids, right?
No.
So you're mid 30s, you're out of this relationship, you found a new passion that's going really well with DJing. Mm-hmm. You're kind of like chapter 2, baby. Like we're a new page. We're starting over. We're starting a new thing.
Yeah.
Nicole 2.0. And along this storyline, were you thinking at all, like, do I want to have kids one day? Do I want to have a partner again? Because I could imagine after being with somebody for a long time, just being like, I'm kind of happy being on the couch by myself for some time. Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah. I think, yes, I was definitely in a space of, okay, let's do it differently for a little bit. Like I was saying earlier, I had been a serial monogamist.
Yeah.
Basically my whole life, from like high school boyfriends to, married for 8 years. And so I was like, I'm moving to New York.
Sure. That's fresh.
And, which seems like a great place to sort of have juggle both sides of my career, the music and
DJing, obviously, way
Yes.
more fun there. Yeah.
So I moved to New York and I lose my mind a little bit, just a tiny bit.
What does that look like?
I mean,
You're a woman about town who's just been like given a second lease on freedom in a new city. Is that what you're saying to me?
totally.
We're having a blast.
And dating for the first time in my life, like actually dating, not just like meeting someone. I really like you. Let's be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like dating.
Pass this all, be my boyfriend. We're
Yeah.
passing up.
Yeah. No, it was like, thanks. Maybe I'll call you. Maybe I won't. You know what I mean? Like,
How liberating.
yeah. So that was a really different experience for me and valuable and needed.
Yeah.
And needed because I didn't give myself that when I was younger. And I think that where I am now in my life, I don't know if I would be as settled if I didn't have that at least somewhere along the way. So I'm glad I got it, even if it was a little bit later.
So important.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish my family well, but I never properly got my yayas out. I talk about that all the time on here. And, I wish everybody the best around me for that, should that day come that I combust. I don't know what it's going to look like. So you're having your New York chapter. How long did that last for?
Well, I was there for a total of 7 years. And then Chad and I met pretty early on, but we didn't get serious until like 2017.
How did you guys meet?
Through work, actually. So he had been at Nike Corporate for a long time and in marketing. And so I would do a lot of events with Nike in New York, and our paths would cross at those events. And
Was anybody
then he would,
flirting with anybody?
Then he would like see if I was available to hire, for one of his events, and then but it was like a little bit of a start and stop. You know, he went to Portland for some of that time, and we were like, okay, this is not going to work, long distance, whatever. But then came back to New York, and when he did, we were like, okay, we can try this, like, maybe for real.
Maybe for real.
Yeah.
And okay, so 2017, we're giving it a real shot. Did you know that you wanted to have kids?
I had come to a point where I was at peace if I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was at the time in my late 30s.
Yeah.
And I knew, the window was getting smaller. And I did not know if I was going to find a partner that I would want to do that with in the window of time that I had left. But I also knew I don't think I was ever one of those people who was like, I'm having a kid regardless. Like, I'll do it on my own.
Yeah, I was the same.
Yeah. I was like, if, it happens when it happens, great. But I wanted to do it with a partner.
A teammate, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I was kind of okay, like, coming to terms with, like, it might not happen, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But then I met Chad.
Then you met Chad.
And then, as we talked about the future, I knew that he wanted kids for sure. And so at that time, I was like, okay, let me go see what I'm working with. So I went to a consultation for egg freezing.
Yeah.
And at that consultation, they do like a sonogram.
No.
I wasn't pregnant.
Okay, I was going to say, I can't handle that.
But, well, maybe I was actually. I mean, she was explaining to me like, okay, you ovulate, your ovaries alternate every month.
Yeah.
And so there's follicles here, there aren't any here because you've already ovulated this month from this side. And I was like, that feels early because we were like, doing the whole like timing of it, and we were living on the edge a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, there might have been like a small window there. And then like a few weeks later, I found out I was pregnant.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. And were you like, wow, this is amazing? Or were you like, oh shit, I wasn't ready for it right now?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of both, for sure. Yeah.
And was there any consideration, like, for you, part of what you are selling to the world is how you present yourself.
Yeah.
Was there any like, oh shit, how's this gonna go
Definitely.
on that front?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, New York nightlife is, you don't see a lot of like
Pregnant women DJing?
No. You do now, actually, more.
Yeah.
But at the time, yeah, I definitely was like, okay, how is this gonna work? But I ended up working until about 7 months, and then I took off maybe 3, 4 before I started like a little bit here and there. The good thing about it is like I don't have office hours where I have to show up at the same
You do have to like stand up for a long time.
Yes.
You remember that like time after you have a kid and it kind of, or at least for me, it felt like my vagina was going to fall out of my body at any minute. Like my organs were just going to end up on the floor. Like the idea of standing for a prolonged period of time, that's an occupational hazard.
It definitely can be. But then there's also the part of it that's like, I get to leave the house.
That's true. That is true. So Crosby enters the picture. You guys are still in New York at this point? Was there anything about the actual having Crosby those early days that was unexpected for you?
Yeah, I mean,
Like when he came out, were you like, "Oh my God, here's my baby, I love you"? Like when my both of my kids really, when they were born, I was like, "Hi, I'm your mom. Your name is this. Nice to meet you. Like I don't know you yet."
Yeah.
But I wasn't like what happens in the movies personally. But some people really are, right? Where like they like look into the eyes and they're like, "We were meant to be together." I didn't have that experience until later.
Okay.
With my kids.
I think, yeah, I was, like you said, there was the fact that I had gotten pregnant spontaneously and had a healthy child. Like I was just so thankful that everything went well. So there was definitely that release and like sincere, like, thank you, God. Like, I'm so glad you're here and we're all alive. And yeah, I think that I didn't expect Chad to be as good at like
what a pleasant surprise.
Seriously, like newborn parenting. I knew he was going to be a good dad, right? But like that newborn, all the little things that you got.
Shout out Chad.
Yeah, like he was so good at it. Like maybe better than me at first. And so I was really happy to witness that and to be the beneficiary of that. And so that was definitely unexpected. And I think like bonding wise, yeah, I pretty much was like, okay, like we're in it.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Off to the races.
All in. Yeah.
And in terms of like that first 3-4 months before you are working, is Chad working during that time?
Yeah. So we were fortunate in that they gave, I think it's 3 or 4 months paternity leave as well.
Wow.
So I took a few months where he was still at work, and then a little bit into, I think when Crosby was maybe 3 months old, he took his.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so he took the whole leave that was given to him, because that's sometimes a complaint people have, is that their partners are given the leave, but they don't take it because they're worried about job security or judgment or whatever. He took that time. And so it felt like early on you both had this like upfront investment in what it was going to look like to parent. Did you guys ever have any discussions about what division of labor was going to look like? Because at the time he has more of an office job, you have a more creative job, flexible job. How did all of that go?
We kind of fell into a natural rhythm of it. We talked a little bit about it before he was born, but I think until you are fully in it, it's hard to say like how it's actually going to shake out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he was often like nights, even when he was off, he would like at nighttime, if baby was crying, he would get up, he would figure it out and then let me sleep. And then, yeah, we kind of, there were no like strict divisions. We kind of just sort of,
as Crosby's gotten older, has that changed at all? Because like you have a grown child, like compared to where I am, you know, in my stage, which is a little bit behind. When I like look at this kid, I'm like, this is like a whole person.
Yeah.
It's so I imagine your roles have shifted significantly in what you're doing and how you're doing it. What does that look like?
It's interesting because about a year ago, I noticed that Crosby really started to gravitate towards Chad more for more things. Like you could see the that part of him that wanted to learn things about Dad and emulate Dad and ask Dad about more things about being a person, a boy, that kind of thing. And that was like a little bit bittersweet for me.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, it was like, yeah, of course, Dad is there and he's, you know, always going to be present and active in your life, and they have a great relationship. But it was like, for most things that were like considered needs, it was mommy.
Yeah.
Who was on the hook. And I want to say on the hook because
you wanted to be on the hook.
I wanted to be on the hook.
Yeah.
And so to watch him sort of evolve and look to Chad in that way was lovely, but also a part of me that's like, oh, I'm not as needed anymore.
Oh, that's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
When that comes for me, and it does sometimes already. But we already had a discussion about my Crosby. My husband did space camp, like space sleepaway camp as a kid, and I went to like very stereotypical Jewish sleepaway camp. And like I already hear my son being like, well, I'm going to space camp, which nothing could kill me more, because I'm like, every little Jewish kid needs to have this experience. This is an important part of your heritage. Right. And now he like wants to go to fucking space camp, and I'm like I'm mad at my husband for something he didn't do.
Yes, there are definitely times when like a really involved dad can like put you in a sticky situation.
Yes.
A couple of years
well
ago,
said.
Chad went on a field trip with Crosby's class, and they were at like some science center, and there was a space exhibit. I thought of this because you were talking about space camp, and you know, they're talking about space, whatever, and Crosby must have asked him, "Have you been to space? Like, if people like can go to space, have you been?" And Chad jokingly, like, not realizing then, you know,
impressionable young kid
is going to take it literally. He was like, yeah, I've been to space, like wink wink,
right?
When I'm out on an edible, perhaps,
right?
Like, been to space. And so fast forward a few weeks later, we get this call from his kindergarten teacher, and she's like, I just need to ask, because we're currently writing stories, and the direction was to write a true story about something in your life. And Crosby wrote a story about how his dad is an astronaut.
Oh, God.
And I was like, I don't think Chad works in space, but maybe. And she's like, I Googled, like I did the whole, I just like need to know so that we can like properly address, I can make sure he understands what I mean by true story.
Yeah.
And Chad was like, yeah,
that's my bad.
That's
so funny.
I did say that day that I had been to space, and I guess he thought I meant that I was an astronaut.
We are working on like sarcasm in this house, because like it gets taken literally, because our son is also 5. That is so funny though. But you know what? Who knows? This could send Crosby straight to JPL. That's really, really funny. So you guys are in this different stage of parenting. Your sort of roles are shifting in terms of what Crosby needs you guys for. And your careers are evolving since then. Chad's left Nike. He started his own thing. How do you guys, is there a recurring argument? Research shows that people who have been together for a long time have the same argument over and over again. It could be about like whatever, your always late and I want to be there on time, the dishwasher, whatever it is. Do you guys are there like the things that you get stuck on about?
In terms of parenting or just across the board?
Across the board, any of it.
He's not a tidy person.
Yeah.
And
Do you hear that, Chad?
Yeah. And that is probably the thing that irks me the most. I'm like, the pile of papers don't need to be here for a month.
I feel that deeply, yeah.
Like, not an entire month.
Yeah.
Or the clothes on the floor, that stuff. So little like things that irk me.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm sure he would say about me probably,
that you don't like that he's not tidy.
That part.
That
right?
you're like nagging him about his shit on the floor.
How dare I be annoyed over something that's on his side of the bed?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Just don't go over there then.
Bread and butter sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the like sort of larger philosophical parenting, how to handle consequences or how to handle difficult discussions, when to have the sex talk, all of that sort of stuff. Are you guys like tackling those things as they come up?
Yeah, we're generally on the same page about stuff like that. Although when things get really sticky, like we're going through kind of a tough phase right now. Like second grade feels like it's just ramped up on every level, like schoolwork, social stuff, and we're like a little bit disoriented because it's coming at us fast.
Right. You're like, I wasn't prepared to cover this topic yet.
Right. And sometimes, when we're having conversations with Crosby, we will like say something that we maybe haven't checked in with each other on first. And then it's like, oh shit. Like that went down a road that we hadn't sort of
aligned on.
Yeah. Aligned on, or even just like thought all the way through.
No, that's such a good point. And then also in those moments, because that happens here too. And it's like, you don't want to call out the other person in front of the kid because you don't want to like undermine what they're trying to do. But then maybe you don't agree with it or you don't think it's the right time, but you don't want it to go too far. And it's like really hard to know how to like put the brakes or not to put the brakes. That is a common one around here.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, guess today's the day we're having the sex talk or whatever it is. You're like, didn't know that was happening
we're here
today.
Now, so let's do it.
Yeah.
But we try to, especially now that it's like Fast and Furious, take a breath and say to Crosby, like, you might not get the answer on that right away, or we're going to talk about it first and we will come back to you. And that's sometimes
hard a really good call
for a 7-year-old to accept.
Yeah.
But practice helps.
But
a lot of practice at it right now.
But it is such a good reminder that like you can say that. Be like, hey, I'm going to come back to you with an answer. I'm going to tuck that one away in my mind. Because sometimes I do just feel this urgency that I have to like deal with it right now. And it's like, oh, actually.
Yeah, no, I think
that's a really good point.
I had to make peace with letting him know that like I don't always have all the answers at my fingertips.
Yeah.
Sometimes I gotta talk to dad. Sometimes I gotta talk to my therapist. Sometimes I gotta like, take time with it and make sure that I'm serving it up to him the right way.
I sometimes will say to my son, this is my first time having a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Like I am still figuring it out with you, buddy. And like, I'm kind of confused about what happened and I want to figure it out, but like, I'm new here too. It's your first time being 5. It's my first time having a 5-year-old. Because in a moment, I'm just like, don't know what to do with this. But I like the idea that I can just be like, I'll get back to you. Let me circle back on that.
Yeah.
We'll revert on that one. All right. I think this will be my last question because I want you to have your day. Huh. But you are raising a child in Los Angeles, in a city. I grew up in like the burbs. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like my childhood as a consequence got to be a little slower, like being a kid longer. And I think social media and the internet and whatever has like taken that from kids globally, regardless of where they live. But I am new here to LA and I am, entering this world of raising kids here. Is there anything that you feel like you guys are like, shit, we got to like hold on to his innocence longer. Like, how do we protect him? Because I just feel like kids grow up faster in cities. Do you ever feel like you see that, or is it just kids are kids everywhere?
Gosh. Yes. I think, by virtue of the fact that we live in Los Angeles and we have the careers that we do.
Yeah.
And the lives that we do, like the social life and the ability to travel, and Crosby definitely is having a way different childhood than either of us had, but also different than my sister's kids who live in, the suburbs of Toronto.
When he visits them, do you feel like the kids all recognize the difference, or they're just, when they're together, they're just being kids?
No, I think when they're together, they're just being kids.
Yeah.
There may be stuff that Crosby has already been exposed to that they haven't, but he's also a little bit older than them. Like
yeah.
Of those, like that sort of batch of cousins, he's the oldest. And so, yeah, but even like at school and here in LA, there are definitely times where I'm like, ooh, I wasn't expecting you to, know about that yet, or experience that. And so, yeah, I think that we just try to positively reinforce all the time that, like, there are different ways for everybody. Like, that's right for that family. This is right for our family. And the only universal thing is, like, be kind to yourself, be kind to each other, and, everything else can get figured out. You might not be the kid with the most bucket squad shorts at school.
Fuck, I don't even know what that is. Oh, God.
But it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? There are other things that you can focus on, and that, you are cool, and that make you you.
Yeah. Oh my God, your kid is so cool. When people follow you on Instagram after this, they're going to see, because you've linked to his account.
Oh, yeah.
And he's such a cutie patootie. Like,
he is very
consummately cool.
Oh.
Bucket shorts, whatever the fuck they're called, aside.
Exactly.
Nicole, this was so wonderful. I feel like we really went on a journey today. I love that you kind of had all of these different chapters, but they all were leading in this direction that's like this fully actualized. Sometimes we feel like we need to know who we are so much earlier than we do. Mm-hmm. And when I look at my friends, when I hear stories like this, I'm like, now's actually our time to really tell the world and show the world who we are. And I feel like that's what you're doing. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's not over till it's over.
It's not over till it's over, baby. Thank you so much for coming to the closet.
Thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure.
Team, I need your help. If you love it here, please like and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to the Substack for full access to this episode's show notes and join the discussion. And of course, follow me on Instagram at mutha, MUTHA.life for a daily look at all things mother. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for another Chat in the Closet. This podcast was produced by Mother Life, music by Ronan Landa. See you next time.